Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Chef Frank. Today I'm going to be sharing you my all-time baklava recipe. It is a rolled walnut baklava recipe and it comprises of a Frangipane mixture in the middle, very fine dusting of walnuts in between the layers. I'm only going to be doing 2 layers, and coarse walnut to finish it off. I'll show you how it's done. Now the recipe itself is, the Frangipane is 1 cup of self-raising flour, 1 cup of almond meal, 125 grams softened butter, 3 eggs, medium to large, okay, and 200 grams of caster sugar. Now with any cake mix, always cream the butter and sugar first, add your eggs, and then add your dry mix and fold to combine, okay? Once it's combined, put into a piping bag with a 1 centimeter nozzle. If you don't have a nozzle, just cut the end 1 centimeter. And the recipe itself today is going to be for a tray which is roughly about 28-30 centimeters by about 35-40 centimeters, okay? You will need 2 packets of filo pastry. It's very important that once you open the filo pastry, wet your towel or your hand towel or whatever, squeeze the excess water out of it, shake it off, and then cover. You need to keep it damp, otherwise it'll just be brittle and break apart. We'll probably use about 1.5, but unfortunately they don't sell 1.5 packets. Now, the secret is ghee, okay? If you know how to make clarified butter, make clarified butter. You will need about 500 grams of clarified butter, Phoenix, or you can just go to the shop and buy yourself ghee, which is exactly the same thing. So clarified butter is basically, or ghee, is basically butter which is without the lactose, okay? So the lactose is removed, so you get a higher burning point and you get more flavor. Let's start. Okay, before anything, we need to heat up our clarified butter or ghee. It needs to be fairly hot. The hotter it is, the more viscous, the more thinner and runny, easier to spread. So what we're going to do firstly is apply it onto our baking dish, to the sides and the base, and leave it there. Okay? Now, when you're first starting off, on your cutting board, just a couple of dabs of butter, just to hold the filo in place. It is a little bit windy here, hopefully it's not going to cause any drama. Okay, get in your hand, just like that, and then brush it liberally. I would highly recommend getting yourself a really good pastry brush. This one is matte fur. You can buy these in quality hospitality stores. I got mine from Chef's Warehouse. Not many stores keep these. These are French and they're specifically designed for pastry. Okay, first layer is done. Fine dusting of walnut. What this does, apart from adding texture to the dish, it also stops the layers from sticking and becoming dense. It actually aerates it. Helps with the laminating too. Makes it a more lighter product. Again, as you can see, very easy to use this brush, more softer, and then they are natural bristles. Now, second layer is done. Then for about 3-4 centimeters from the edge, we pipe. Now, your right hand is your steering wheel. The back hand, you twist and you push, you twist and you push. Don't ever squeeze from the front, otherwise you'll have air pockets there. And just push from the back. That's it, done. Finish it off with coarse walnuts. This one's just gonna add more to the texture. Okay, just like that. And all we do is roll, not tight. And there you go. That's 1 layer. You can probably, on this tray, probably fit about 11, okay? So, I'll do one more for you guys, just to show you again. This recipe is out of this world, honestly. I have used it in stadiums where I worked, in Greek restaurants where I worked, and people just, just get hooked on it. Every time they see me, they say, please make this recipe again for us. I did it for my boss's daughter's wedding, for an Italian wedding, believe it or not. It went well with the panna cotta. As your ghee cools down, you'll need to actually put it back on the heat for about 10-20 seconds. Okay, just bring it back to the heat, turn it off, and then start using it again. Because as it cools, it thickens, and then you're going to end up, it's going to be actually harder to spread the butter, and you end up going to be using much more. Second layer is done. Let's close our filo. Again, try to do it in one motion. More the merrier. Push. So the Frangipane mix is basically the mixture you're going to get in your almond croissants. Very nice. Now baklava comes in many shapes, forms and flavors. Traditionally, depending on the area in Turkey, southeastern Turkey is traditionally pistachio because that's where the product grows mainly. And throughout other parts of Turkey, other than the Black Sea, they will be using mainly walnuts because it's abundant. And in the Black Sea region, where it produces 85% of the world's hazelnuts, they predominantly use hazelnuts, okay? Okay, up to my last layer now, last roll. This is a little bit smaller than my usual tray, so this one only holds about 10. Now, the other secret to my baklava, or my family's baklava is, I should say, is the syrup. The most important part is the syrup. This particular baklava, you can eat a few pieces before you even want to think of drinking water. So, the secret is using, not caster sugar, but using raw sugar. It's much more subtle, it's much more lighter in flavor. So the recipe for the syrup is 5 parts water, 3 parts sugar. That's 5 parts tap water, 3 parts raw sugar. So that could be equate to 5 liters, 3 liters, depending on the volume you need. It could be 500 mils, 300 or 500 grams, 300 grams, etc. So you need to work it out, okay? So I've done about 1.1 kilo sugar to about 1.8 water, okay, which equates to. And you need, most importantly, do not reduce too far, okay? If you reduce too far, it'll be too thick, too sweet. I normally reduce it by about 20% at the most. Yep, air pocket. Now, when you're doing this, actually I should say before you actually start rolling it out, you need to preheat your oven to about 180 and usually cooks in about 45 minutes or so. Done. Now, next important part, we need to coat it with a lot of ghee on top and then put it back into the fridge. What is going to happen is the fat or the ghee is going to solidify. It's going to go nice and hard, so you can cut it any size you want without breaking or disturbing the pastry itself. Go to the edges first. See, as you can see, it's cooled down a bit, it's thickened a bit. The edges. So what gives flavor to the baklava? It's mainly the ghee. Now I'm going to leave this in the fridge for about 5 minutes. It's just going to set. Then I'm going to show you how we cut it and then place it in the oven, cook, and then talk about the syrup and dressing it with the syrup. Okay, see you then. Okay, our baklava has set. I should say the butter has set. So, okay, time to cut. Now, you can either cut 4 columns or you can do 5. Easier to do 4, and the portion, if you're going to be serving this in a cafe or something, okay, probably cut it to 4. ideally. So the best way to cut it is find the center, just mark it first, and then just go over it, yeah? When you get to the end, so you cut it nicely and all the edges. Okay, now we'll cut this half into half again, so we get a quarter. Again. Just turn around. That's it. Now, time to go into the oven. Okay, oven is already hot, preheated, 180. Midway. That's it. Close the door. Put a timer for about 45 minutes. Now, 5 minutes before your baklava is ready, that's when you need to reheat your sugar syrup. Bring it to blood temperature, okay? About 36, 37 degrees. This is my sugar syrup I've done already. Just leave it there for now. I'll turn it on later, okay? Very, very simple. As you notice, it is darker in color. But when you actually put it onto the product, it's not that dark. But most importantly, it is very tasty. It's very light. Okay, time's up. Our baklava is now ready. Just check in between. Yep, nicely cooked. The syrup has been reheated to blood temperature. It's about 36, 37 degrees, and we will shortly dress it. Okay, now time to dress our baklava with our sugar syrup. You can hear the sizzle. Dress it liberally. Be generous. It is quite a light syrup. Okay, I can see about half a centimeter or so liquid still there. I'm just going to let it rest for about a minute or so. Let it soak it up and then dress it again. You may need to do this 2 times, 3 times. Okay, it's all soaked up. Dress it up again. That should do. Okay, that should do. Let it wait about 5 minutes before eating. Let it soak it up. You don't want the inside to be dry. Okay, we'll come back to it and plate it up. Okay, time to plate up our baklava now. I'm going to be serving 2 pieces, which is 1 serve. Now, here I have whipped up some whipped cream, creme chantilly. There's also a thing in there, vanilla bean, fresh, proper, vanilla bean pods. Now, what you do is just make your usual whipped cream or creme chantilly, whip it to stiff peak, with icing sugar, of course, and then fold in 50, equal amount of mascarpone. What that does is, if you were to just use whipped cream, you need to do it like on the day or on the hour, an hour or so before, and use up straight away. Later on, it's going to deflate. What the mascarpone does is helps it retain its shape and holds its form. You can actually keep this in the fridge for 5 days, 4 days, easy, and use it over and over again. Just going to show you how we're going to serve. Cut nicely, at an angle. At an angle, just like that. Put that away. Okay, we're just gonna quenelle on some mascarpone and whipped cream mixture. So make sure your spoon's hot. Just starting at the edge, just roll, okay, just like that. Just give it a bit of a shape. drop it in the middle there. And sprinkle on some walnuts. There you go. And that's our baklava. Enjoy. Okay, that wraps up the episode for this week. Please do not forget to subscribe and like and hit the like button. And please, if you have any suggestions, any recommendations for future, any recipes, please let us know in the comment section. See you again next week. Thank you.